Okay, think about your workday for a second. How much of your time is spent just juggling? Switching between tabs, copying from a spreadsheet, pasting into an email, basically acting as the human glue between all your different apps. Well, there's a quiet but massive shift happening right now that's about to change all of that. We're moving away from a world of apps and into a world of what's being called orchestration.
And honestly, this quote right here gets to the heart of the entire change. For the last, 20 years, we've been the ones doing the coordination. We've been the ones juggling. This new era, let's call it Generation 4, completely flips that script. It's about systems starting to do that coordination for us, while we move into a role of supervision. So here's the crucial difference. In the old world, Gen 3, you're the glue. You're the one who has to make sure your calendar talks to your email, that your spreadsheet talks to your presentation. But in this emerging Gen 4 world, the system becomes the glue. It's the one that intelligently connects the tools to get something done. Your job shifts from navigating apps to supervising outcomes.
Right, so let's dig into this invisible shift because it's not some big bang moment. It's more like a new control layer that's quietly forming right on top of the apps we already use every single day. You can almost think of it as a new operating system, but for your work itself.
And look, if you've been feeling a little bit of whiplash from technology lately, this is probably why. These really powerful new Gen 4 behaviors, like AI drafting an email for you or summarizing a long document, they're all showing up inside our old familiar Gen 3 products. It's kind of like putting a brand new jet engine into a vintage car. Sure, it's powerful, but it's definitely going to feel a little weird and confusing.
So let's just break down this confusion a little bit. First off, the cool AI features we see, that's not the whole story. Underneath the surface, there's a battle for who gets to be the central coordinator of your work. Right now, pretty much every product is a hybrid, a mix of old and new. And the biggest challenge isn't just making AI smarter, it's making it trustworthy. And this is all happening while the old guard, the big tech companies, they still own the major platforms, which makes the whole change feel uneven and kind of disjointed. So where does all this confusion leave us? Well, it drops us right in the middle of what you might call the messy middle. This is not an overnight switch. So let's try to pull out a map and chart a practical course for what the next few years are probably going to look and feel like. And the key number to just get in your head is 4 to 6 years. That feels like a really realistic window for this messy, hybrid period to play out. It's enough time for new platforms to really emerge, for us to figure out which systems we can actually trust, and for businesses to start seriously redesigning how work gets done. And this timeline, it probably feels pretty familiar, right? We're deep in that early phase right now. A ton of curiosity, but also a healthy dose of skepticism. Next up is the period of widespread experimentation. And yeah, a lot of confusion. It's only after we get through that, around years 3 and 4, that we'll see companies start to really redesign their core workflows. And that is what will eventually lead to a full reset of the tech hierarchy. We can actually break this journey down into 4 phases that sort of overlap. Right now, we're mostly in phase 1. We're seeing simple AI features bolted onto the apps we already use. Soon, we'll see more workflow stitching, where different tools actually start talking to each other. That lays the groundwork for phase 3, trusted delegation, where we actually feel comfortable handing off entire multi-step tasks. And all of that leads to the final phase, the hierarchy shift, where this new orchestration layer really does become the most important part of our tech stack. Now, I want you to just take a second and really think about this. Your own workday. How many of those little steps you take, copying, pasting, downloading a file just to upload it somewhere else, how many of those things only exist because your tools don't talk to each other? That work, that human glue stuff, is exactly what Gen 4 is aiming to dissolve. And that brings us to what is maybe the most critical part of this entire conversation. Section 3, the real problem is trust. Because look, having a super powerful AI model is one thing, but getting that model to act on your behalf, reliably and safely, is a completely different ballgame. You see, the real bottlenecks holding this whole shift back, they're not about raw intelligence. They're about these frictions, things like trust, permissions, memory, and reliability. The questions we have to ask are, can I actually trust it? What permissions does it really need? Is it going to remember what I told it last week? These are the real battlegrounds where the Gen 4 future is going to be won or lost. This all rolls up into a concept called trusted execution, and it's so much more than just getting an answer right. It's about the ability for a system to act for you, with memory of your past conversations, with the right permissions, with a clear audit trail, and this is the big one, with the ability to recover gracefully when things inevitably go wrong. So it all boils down to this one simple but incredibly hard question that every single one of us and every organization is going to have to answer. Can this system really do stuff for me? Send that email, update that CRM record, schedule that meeting without creating some new hidden risk that I can't even see? The answer to that question? Well, it's everything.
Okay, so for our final section, let's get really practical. Let's talk about the new Gen 4 scorecard. With all the hype flying around, we need a new way to separate the real signal from all the noise.
So here's the mental shift we all need to make. We've got to stop asking, who has the smartest AI model? That's the old question. The real question, the one that matters now, is who is building the system that can become the most trusted orchestrator of my actual work?
So how do you spot the real Gen 4 contenders? Well, look for this difference. An AI that can just answer questions inside one app, that's a weak signal. It's a nice feature, but it's not transformative. The strong signal is a system that can take action across multiple tools with your explicit permission. That's the difference between simple assistance and real leverage.
Okay, here's the next test. An AI that can just retrieve information for you? Honestly, that's another weak signal. It's basically just a better search bar. But an AI that can maintain context, that remembers what you were working on yesterday and why it's important, that is a very strong signal. That's what actually starts to reduce your mental burden.
And finally, please don't be fooled by flashy demos. Anyone can make a demo look amazing under perfect lab conditions. The strongest signal of all is a system that works reliably out in the wild, in the messy, unpredictable environments where real work actually gets done. Reliability beats flashiness every single time. So let's pull this all together into a really simple scorecard you can use. When you're looking at a new tool, go beyond asking, is it smart, and use these dimensions instead. For trust, ask, can it act or can it just answer? For context, does it remember me or does it start fresh every single time? For reach, is it trapped in just one product or can it coordinate many? And for reliability, does it just break or can it recover gracefully? This is the new test for what really matters. And that leaves us with one final provocative question for you to take back to your team. When you adopt a new platform today, are you just buying a better version of an old tool? Or are you, maybe without even realizing it, quietly choosing the company that will become the future control layer for all of your work? Because in the end, the winners of this new era won't be decided by who has the highest score on some benchmark test. They'll be determined by who successfully combines that intelligence with all the hard, messy, human parts of the equation: trust, permissions, memory, and a deep understanding of workflow. And that is the unseen shift.